Masplomele, Dr. Khumalo comes, he gives you a big hug, a handshake.
Yeah.
He's smiling, he's happy. By the time he walks past us, the Yambono too happy. Tin good, doctor.
Yeah, as with Dr. Khotmane like her, he's always been part and parcel, of the family. His contribution is second to none, and whenever he comes to visit, whenever he comes to see us, we embrace that. So it was good to see him as well. And yeah, we'll always talk about football because football, we share ideas and we learn from each other. So yeah, I was happy to see him as well.
Before we go any further, your memory at Derby got Dr. Khumalo, being that he's the man of big matches.
Yeah.
You've always admired him. What's your memory at Dr. Khumalo with Derby? Looking at the Derby that is coming, what would the doctor do?
Look, it's difficult to single out, one game. There's a lot of games where Dr. tortured, the Orlando Pirates defenders. Some it was their first game and their last game. So, because he was a very, very difficult player to mark, and he was so excellent. He was at a different level. So I just hope and wish, people don't just hear people talking about Doctor, but some of the players, they give themselves, some time while they're sitting at home, relaxed, watching TV and watch the former players that used to, grace, FNB Stadium with their, talents and showcase their talents and show people what they were made of, and that's where we come from, as a nation, and that's the reason, football has always been, number one sport, in the country. It's because of those players who went there to express themselves, and I believe they created so much time for themselves, just to focus on themselves. Individual training, apart from the training of the club or of the team, but just them spending more time on themselves, knowing their strengths and weaknesses, and also trying to know how their teammates can be able to use them so that they can shine. And that was the strong point of those individuals, and which is something that we're trying to improve and work on a daily basis.
Brendan Silent angayizwa lento ishilo about tormenting Pirates defenders.
Too many. Unfortunately, you just mentioned one name, but the too many players that were tortured.
Yeah. Coach, what you've just shared, this is a club of tradition.
Yeah.
And we see this, especially in rugby and cricket, when the following day when the team is out, the legend comes and hands out the jerseys. And I think even before the recent derby, that's what you did with legends coming to the players, and we've had them talking about this. How important is that tradition of legends being in this space, and also making the job easier for you in terms of these boys knowing the weight of what is expected from the big brand like this?
I think it played a huge role in the past, and it's still going to play a huge role going forward. But I would love to see them, quite often. Not only when it's derby. Why? Because all the games are equally important. And yes, it's good that they also help these players to realize the importance of playing in the derby. You can create history. You can be remembered, like we're talking about Umutuma right now. And there's many other players, who did very well, the likes of Thabo Moki, you name, the list is long, So you also want these players to be amongst, the best when it comes to derby, but not only derby, but many other games, because you not only play, you wish you can play derby every weekend, because that also, you see the players when they come to training, everyone wants to be part and parcel, everyone wants to add value, everyone wants to be seen, because they know how important is that game. So you're trying to work towards that in terms of mentality to make sure that the players, they understand the meaning of playing for a team of Kaizer Chiefs caliber, and how many people that are watching, week in, week out, not only the derby but the games, so you want to see players improving each and every game that they take part, and they always express themselves, because it's about us and the national team as well. The more we produce good players in the big teams, performing players, week in, week out, and that will also help the national team to start performing even much better.
Coach, you've had a good defensive record over the past 3-4 games, but how much are you emphasizing to the squad now that Golden Arrows is one of the fixtures that you have to win? Because you guys haven't been consistent, and now's an opportunity to be consistent. And on paper, Chiefs, should be winning Golden Arrows. So how are you, drilling it into them that they have to win this game?
They all know. They all know how important is this game for us. We missed out, to climb the ladder as well. Put a little bit of pressure on the, for position 2 against Galaxy. We stand a good chance. We should have done better in terms of taking our chances. We had the game, in our hands, and we did not capitalize. So here's another opportunity for us, to make sure that we climb the ladder. We get maximum points. As much as we know that's not going to be easy, like you said, they've been conceding goals, just like we've been doing. Though their situation is worse than ours. But what I'm happy about is that for the past 3 games, we haven't been conceding, which is good for us, and we want to keep it that way. And one thing that I know for sure, if we don't concede, we stand a good chance of scoring at any given time in the game.
And Coach, do you think getting a positive result against Arrows will set the tone for the derby, having won the first one in the first round?
Unfortunately, derby, when you look at the history, previous games, they count for nothing. When it's derby time, forget about what you've done the past week, or whether you got maximum, results, maximum points or good results. It counts for nothing. What is key is what you're going to do on the day of the derby. So how you're going to apply yourself, and make sure that you win the game. Because you can win 6-0, then you get to derby, you get beaten 3-0. So I've seen it happen, quite like many a times, where at one stage we were beating everyone. Then Pirates was struggling. We went to Pirates, they hammered us 3-0, and we were beating everyone left, right, and center, prior to the game. And I've experienced such. So you don't try to, as much as the game is hyped up out there, but you try by all means as a coach to make sure that the players, level-headed, whether you're coming from winning a game or losing a game, make sure that players, they go there with cool heads and with their feet on the ground, just to make sure that they're ready mentally, physically, and psychologically.
Just on the defensive work, Coach, what have you done differently? Because when you go and work on something that was troubling you, and it's bearing results. That's a reflection of the good work you've done there. How have you managed to tweak things?
No, it's a case of repetition, in our sessions. We believe in what you are doing. And if you look at the goals that we considered 21. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think out of 21 goals, 13 or 14 were individual errors. So individual errors, obvious lapse of concentration, you understand what I'm saying. So we needed to deal with the individuals. Those mistakes were trying to pass the goalkeeper, then there's not enough power behind the ball, then it's been cut, then they score. Defenders colliding to each other, then allowing the opposition, or a deflection and all that. So, but when you look at us collectively, when we defended very well. And that is why when you don't see those individual errors, we are difficult to penetrate as well as a team, and we stand a good chance. Every game, when you go forward, you look like scoring. you know. Though sometimes, frustration gets into our, head, we lack a little bit of composure inside the box in the final third entry. But I think if you can look at your stats, we are the most difficult team to deal with, to stop, and even when we apply pressure high, we are likely to regain position there. And there's many games that I can talk about. Sundowns, for me, I don't know if people watch the game properly. We could have scored 5 goals, just winning the balls in their half, and we were just not ourselves on the day. But there's something that we did right on the day or on the night of the game, and we're just not fortunate to capitalize on those opportunities that we created. So it's in the name of the game, the nature of the game is part of it. We learn from it, and we also try to help the players to learn from the game, because the game is a teacher, and that is why we managed to keep a clean sheet in the past few games that we've played so far.
Just one. A lot of the players in the squad has been questioned for having weak mentalities, but Sitebe, Biza, and Gezana comes back into the squad after being heavily criticized by your fan base. They didn't hold back, especially against Sia. What does that say to you about their comebacks into the first 11?
It is always how you come back after a setback, and that alone tells you that mentally you are strong enough to play for a team of Kaizer Chiefs caliber. And yes, people will always have something to say. They have their opinions, and we respect that. But if you look at these players, they started the season very, very well. All of the players that you mentioned, and because football is a game of mistakes, and playing for a team of Kaizer Chiefs caliber, a team that hasn't been winning cups for some time, the pressure will always mount when things are not going your way. But as I said, it's how you deal with the pressure. It's how you come back after that setback as a player, just to show your quality, just to show that you are mentally ready, to compete at this level. So I must give credit to those players, just for them to come back and show, the quality display, in all those games, just to show that they're good enough to be part and parcel of the team. And it's not only them; it's just not easy to play for a team of Kaizer Chiefs caliber, because you are expected to perform week in, week out, and of which it's tough, because mentally it takes a lot from you.
Coach, I'm just going to take it into the Nedbank Cup. We haven't spoken to you. The draw was done yesterday. Kaizer Stars, your thoughts on that?
Tough one.
Yeah, in fact, Coach, just to add on that, if you can reflect on Kaizer Stars being a mini Kaizer Chiefs. All and all.
Technical directors.
Yeah. Look, it's an interesting one, but very good for football. I think Nedbank is giving everyone the opportunity. The teams in the lower division, talented players as well, get to be seen and be spotted, by big teams, which is great for the country and for the league itself. So, yeah, it's going to be a very, very difficult game for us, because I think they are number one as we speak. So that alone tells you that they are a good team. They're not there by mistake, So yes, people, they might see it as a team, easy to beat. No, we're going to have to dig deeper again, because they've got hard runners. When you look at their team, very, very difficult to play against. So apart from the players that we loaned, to them, they're just a good team. We're not going to take them for granted, and we're going to have to go there and show our superiority.
Do they play against you, those loan players?
They are not to play against us.
And your former colleague, Sindra?
Yeah, it's my brother from another mother.
It's a good mix.
Maybe just going back to the league, you are 27 points with 2 matches behind.
28.
Got 33 matches, 33 points to play for.
Yeah.
Has that shifted your targets, or they remain the same?
Look, we play to win every game. I don't target points, we play to win every game. We are Kaizer Chiefs, we have to win every game. If we don't win, we regroup, we look at our mistakes, we look at where we can rectify, and make sure that we move on. We don't focus or dwell on the past, we try and make sure that we focus on the positives, and so far so good.
Just lastly, Coach, we saw Mashiane come in against Marisbeck and really bringing those balls that you have always desired from him. Your thoughts on him and his performance?
I'm so much happy for Happy. He's been struggling with injuries as well, like many other players. You know, whenever we thought he's ready, then he's out injured, and because it's part of the game, you know. But I was glad to see him, you know, adding value. I was glad to see him performing like he did, and I just hope that will boost his confidence as well. You know, going forward, obviously, he's always been part and parcel of the team, and we're looking forward to see more great performances like the one that he showed in the previous game.
Coach, Mtushabala recovered from a knock he got last week.
Yeah, look, still, because yesterday we were off with a practice match with our reserve team day before yesterday, and yesterday we gave all the players rest. It was more like a rest and recovery day. So I'm still going to see our medical team as to whom is going to be available and who's not going to be available for this Sunday game.